Thomas Partey is not going to be part of Ghana's team to play Panama. I'm sure you are aware of that. But this is just to sort of break down what happened or what went down in court and the reasons the court gave for not um, granting his application to not only reconsider or revisit the inadmissibility case against him, or but also to expedite the process of reconsidering his visa application. But before I continue, please hit the subscribe button, put this on notification so that when I drop another video, you get to see it, you share it, and like the video if what I say interests you. And I also like to know what you think of this situation. And if you've got any feedback for me, we're here for that. Anyway, so first things first, there were a number of things that I was surprised um, in terms of the application to courts. Somehow, Thomas Partey's lawyers and the GFA and the legal team indicated that Thomas Partey had never played at the World Cup, which is strange. Which is not only strange, it's not true, because we know that Partey was at the 2022 World Cup. But somehow, in the court documents, they said Thomas Partey had never played at the World Cup. They said this is Ghana's first World Cup appearance. You and I know that's not true as well. And they also said Thomas Partey has been playing at Villarreal for about 5 years. All of those were not true. And the parts where he was also asked on the form whether or not he has any criminal record or he's currently facing prosecution for any matter in courts, that side as well, he said no. Which is strange because all of these are matters of public record and you would expect that they would know that the courts would know. But somehow they did not say the truth on all of these issues, which is weird when you consider the fact that in the first instance, even the visa application forms, it's a very competent person who handles the protocol issues at the Ghana Football Association. His name is Alex Asante. He's a Deputy General Secretary at the GFA in charge of national teams. He's a protocol officer. Very, very meticulous guy. So I'm struggling to wrap my head around that part, the fact that they did not indicate that Partey was actually in court in the UK and he was facing charges of rape and sexual assault. And they were asked, because it's specific, it's a yes or no matter, and they chose to say no, when that was actually the basis for the player to be, I mean, not the basis, but at the time of the application, it's a big deal, and you would expect that everyone would know. So why they said that surprises me. But it raises concerns or question marks about the handling of the visa application itself by the Ghana Football Association and Thomas Partey. However, that is not central to why the application was rejected yesterday in court, right? The court held that Partey's claim, and I don't know if you saw the Ministry of Foreign Affairs statements that said that the process was unfair. The court held that, contrary to that, this was actually a fair procedure because they wrote to Thomas Partey and they explained his inadmissibility to him and explained the procedure and why he had not been granted the visa. And there was a letter to that effect. So you cannot say that they were not fair to you when they have stated the reasons why they rejected your visa application and did not grant it. They also said, the judge also said, the courts were right. In fact, the immigration officers were right to deny the visa based on the allegations and suspicion alone. So they didn't need to wait for the court to convict Thomas Partey of the rape and the sexual assault charges. The mere fact that those allegations are hanging around his neck in courts are sufficient basis for the immigration officers to have denied him the visa. Thomas Partey's lawyers also argued yesterday that there was going to be irreparable damage or harm to Thomas Partey if he is not granted the visa to go to the World Cup, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He had never played at the World Cup, which is not true. That Ghana had never played at the World Cup, which is not true. But essentially, the court did not even focus on those two facts that they stated that were not true. The court said that the real damage that Thomas Partey is, the real reputational damage that Thomas Partey is facing or suffering, it's not because of the refusal to grant him the visa, but it's actually because of the rape charges and the sexual assault charges in courts that he's facing. Those are the things that are tarnishing Thomas Partey's reputation, and not Canada's decision not to grant him the visa. So that also was the court's decision. So it looks like on the major issues that Partey's lawyers were raising, the rebuttal from the Canadian lawyers were really strong, and the judge tends or somehow agreed with them on all of the issues that they had raised. So that was the meat of the matter in the reason Thomas Partey was not lost that appeal case in the court in Ottawa yesterday. What that means is that Partey is not going to play in that game against Panama. But that takes me to the final point of this video, and I'll hopefully do this in some less than 90 seconds. I'm not too bothered by that because Thomas Partey's last appearances for the Black Stars have not been great. He's looked off the pace. His body simply has not been able to cope with the intensity of the matches in the games against Austria, Germany, and then against Wales. I would want to introduce Caleb Irenchi. I think he's more than competent. He's more than capable of stepping into the mix. I'm tipping him to be one of those breakout stars at this World Cup. His pass selection is really good. He's got a tank about him. He can get up and down the pitch really good. His decision making is brilliant. He can find teammates in between the lines, in between the pockets of spaces with his passing. And he's got a goal in him, as he showed in that game against Wales. So, yes, it's one more problem area, especially without Thomas Partey. But the reality is that Partey is on his last legs. There are some who have even argued that he's long past his sell-by date. I would not go as far, but the signs have been there for a while now that we need to move this team from the old legs and perhaps focus on building a new cohesive unit with the younger players who are capable of taking the responsibility. If you look at the team that we have got tonight, it doesn't look like you will be having too many familiar combinations, but this is our reality. And I think we need to trust Caleb Irenchi. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the notification button and subscribe.